I'm Jessica Apple, a nurse anesthetist.
My name is Jamie Susi, and I'm a pediatric cardiac ICU nurse.
I'm Jim Larson. I'm a cardiac surgery ICU nurse.
I'm Deb John. I'm a nurse anesthetist, and this business has changed the trajectory of our life forever.
And Rodan & Fields has changed my life.
And the Rodan & Fields opportunity has completely changed my life.
And Rodan & Fields completely changed our lives. When we were first presented with this opportunity 4.5 years ago, we said no for every imaginable reason. At the time, my wife, who's a mother-baby nurse, was pregnant with our third kid. We were working back-to-back night shifts because we didn't want to pay for daycare that we really couldn't afford. We never saw each other. We didn't care at all about skincare, and we knew nothing about sales. We were busy and had every reason to say no, and saying no is exactly what we did. But the reality of it is, financially, we were getting by, but we were never getting ahead. We were treading water, and that credit card balance just got a little bigger every year, while that savings account that we swore we were going to start next year never really happened. And so we were open to hear of an opportunity, but the reality was, gosh, we were not creative enough and we were way too busy to start our own business. You know, one where we were going to have to come up with some cool idea that everyone was going to want to buy. That just wasn't going to happen. And then we didn't really have the financial ability, the financial capital to invest in a traditional franchise and maintain a traditional franchise until it became profitable. That's where Rodan & Fields really came in for us. For a low startup cost and a low monthly overhead, it gave us an opportunity to move ahead. So when we finally got to a point where we were willing to put our reservations aside and begin, our lives started to change. In 15 months, my wife was able to retire from her job as an overnight nurse. At 20 months, we earned a free car, and at the 2-year mark, I was able to leave my job as a full-time RN. Guys, that is just surreal and crazy even for me to say. We're now 4 years in, we've quadrupled our combined nursing income, and we wake up every morning with a renewed sense of, hey babe, what do you want to do today? This last Thanksgiving, after years of the evenings, weekends, and night shifts, was the first one ever that our 3 young kids have had both of us home at the dinner table.
At the time I was introduced to this business, I really had no interest in looking at it because of the career I'd worked many years to obtain. I loved what I did and I was very passionate, so there was nothing that was ever going to replace that. What I can share with you though is my husband saw what this is and what the brand name could do for us. So at that point, he took a look and coerced me into starting it with him. What a blessing it actually was, because 2 years into this business, I was off of work for over 5 months. See, I'm a leukemia survivor, but I still take oral chemo every single day. And I ended up with a side effect. It's called vestibular neuritis, which is very similar to vertigo. Off of work for 4 to 5 months, and I get a letter in the mailbox that says I've lost my job. While it could have been devastating, our backup plan became our plan A. We didn't have to worry about health insurance because we were able to afford it on our own. And what I can tell you guys is that was over 2 years ago. This business continues to grow and get bigger. And the true blessing of this is we have one son, and he has the good gift of playing football for Arizona State University, and we now get to live the life that most people dream of. See, we live out in Arizona with him during the season, as we'll never miss one of his games. And that is what this business can do for anybody.
When this opportunity was presented to me a little over 4 years ago, I was definitely not in the mindset of adding a business or anything for that matter to my plate. My kids were young, they were 7 and 4, and I literally was 3 weeks from having our third child. So when my best friend introduced me to this, I said, thanks, but no thanks. I really don't have time. But what I did do was listen. And I walked away from that conversation with a whole new mindset. When she said to me, these are the doctors that created Proactive. Can you imagine if we could have partnered with them 20 years ago? It really stopped me in my tracks. So, you know, at the time, I was busy. I had never sold anything. I am not a salesperson, and that was part of my objections, is that I thought, I don't want to be that person who is trying to sell stuff to somebody. But what I did know is that this opportunity was huge, and it was going to continue to get bigger and bigger with or without me. I was loving the products that I had briefly tried, and I knew that I wanted so many of the things. And I thought, you know what? If this ends up being a great discount on the products that I'm loving, awesome. And if it ends up being a couple of $100 extra for things for a new house that we were starting to build, bonus. And what happened was, I did what they told me to do. I started posting on social media a few times a week, a before and after picture here and there, and I started to wash my face and talk about it. And what once was hoping for a discount and a couple $100 extra a month turned into it pays our mortgage and the kids' private school tuition and our car payments. And in June of this year, I was able to step away from my regular staff position with my anesthesia group, and I just work casual now, about 5 shifts a month. So life is very different. The flexibility is amazing. It's something I never knew that I had a chance to do. So I'm blessed and I'm grateful that this stepped into my life. One of the things that, really attracted me to this also was the fact that I saw these people having so much fun, and the camaraderie that they have and the support and how they're changing people's lives. It's way more than skincare.
Prior to this opportunity, I was working part-time, nights, weekends, holidays, double time, overtime, whatever I could work to make ends meet. I had 2 babies of my own, a newborn and a toddler, when this opportunity first presented itself to me. I thought I was too busy, and aside from that, I was broke. We were working and living paycheck to paycheck, just trying to make ends meet. So initially I thought, this is not going to work for me. I cannot afford to purchase a startup kit. I can't do it. But what I also found, and what attracted me to this opportunity, was the fact that I could run this business virtually on the go. I could not host parties, not stock inventory, and not have an exchange for money. And on top of that, I could build this business globally through all of the United States, Canada, Australia, and eventually we're going to be a completely global company. So those were things that were very intriguing to me. And I had known that these doctors, what they did with Proactive, they're now doing with these products as well. But the money was holding me back. I had $14 in my bank account. I was living paycheck to paycheck. Credit cards were almost maxed out, but I thought, if nothing changes, then nothing changes. I have to find a way to make this work. So I jumped on board, and I have not looked back. Since this opportunity 3 years ago, I have replaced my income. I have been able to walk away from the bedside. I have made a ton of amazing new friends. And on top of it all, I actually went through a really terrible divorce and was able to relocate with my 2 babies and my business across country from the East Coast to Arizona, which I was able to purchase a house all on my own, all because of this opportunity. So had I not jumped on board, had I not taken the leap of faith, had I not done it completely broke, my life would look very different today.
So my advice to you is, if you are even thinking a little bit about this, take a chance on yourself, give it a shot, because it could be the best decision you've ever made in your life. Thanks, you guys.
The question isn't, does this business model work? It does. It's proven to over and over and over again. The question isn't, are nurses uniquely situated to achieve tremendous success with this opportunity? They are. It's proven over and over again. The real question is, are you going to give the Rodan and Fields opportunity a chance to work for you?